Let's have a warm welcome to our next speaker. It's going to be Nakia.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to be happy and live a good life. But before I start, I do want to say, I don't think I know it all, and I don't think I'm better than anybody or whatever. And I'm not completely happy, and I don't think I'm living a good life yet. But I've kind of been on this journey for a couple years now. So I'm figuring out all the answers. And I kind of think I'm onto something. So yeah, I'm a thinker. I like to get my brain picked. I like to hear people's views and opinions of the world and everything, even though I'm kind of stubborn sometimes and it's kind of hard to change my mind or whatever, but I enjoy it. So to start off, I just want to talk about something that I observed. So when I talk to strangers or my friends and my coworkers and stuff like that, they kind of praise me in a way. And what I mean by this is I work, I go to school, I live alone, and they kind of look at it as a good thing. They're wow, you're doing all of this, blah, 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 you're doing a good job, and da-da-da-da, And to me, it's I'm just living life, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing to kind of get into adulthood, even though I'm proud of my accomplishments and stuff, but it's just weird to me how those kind of things make people think you're happy and you're living a good life, when in reality that doesn't determine you being happy. I think too often people glorify the wrong things than what's important. I think it shouldn't define who you are in order to determine the state you're in. So according to Socrates, happiness does not depend on external things, but rather how those things are used. A key to happiness is giving your life some kind of focus and direction. So before I go forward, I just want to ask you guys, how many of you believe in God? Okay. Oh, wow. How many of you just believe there's some kind of higher being, but not necessarily a God? Okay. And how many of you just strictly believe in science? Okay. So I think regardless of how we think we all came to be here, I think it's a miracle that we're all here, the complex processes our bodies had to go through just to get out of our mother's wombs, just shows it wasn't a mistake that we were born. We're all here for a reason. And that leads me to my purpose. I think one key to finding happiness and living a good life is finding your calling or your purpose in life. I think we all have one. For example, this lady was telling me a story about her daughter. She's in the accounting field, so naturally her daughter, she followed in her footsteps and came into the financial field until one day, she randomly woke up and decided, she wanted to go to school for nursing, which is completely different from the accounting field or whatever. And that actually was one of the best decisions she could have made in her life, because years later, today she's in her final year of college, and she's already got a job in the ER department at St. Francis Hospital. She impressed the nurses and the doctors so much that they wanted to have her on her team, and she didn't even finish school yet, so I think that was her finding her purpose, or what she was meant to do in life. And I do want to say though, finding your purpose or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a high-paying career. It could be something as simple as just helping others. That could be your purpose or whatever. I don't think one person's calling or purpose is better than the others. What matters is that you found it. Okay, so, which can be hard, I think another key to living happy and a good life is to find your inner peace. I don't know about you guys, but I drive myself crazy all the time with anxiety. I even tossed and turned for a couple of days just preparing for this speech, for nothing. Because I'm sure once this is over, I'm going to feel fine after this year. So sometimes I find myself having to check myself, relax, Nakia, it'll be okay, which is actually easier said than done. So, yeah. I think we all have had a point in time where we worried about something so much. Have you guys ever had a time where you was just so nervous about something, whether it was a test or a speech or results or something, and after you just I was worried for nothing, So I think that's why it's important not to panic or get down on yourselves. I think any of us can accomplish anything that we want to as long as we put our mind to it. I think the key to that is just being confident in yourself, and believing that anything is possible. I think worrying kind of keeps us away from our true potential or whatever, We can't really convince others that we know what we're doing or that we're good at what we're doing if we can't even convince ourselves. So that's why it's really important to believe in yourself. There will be times mistakes are made or goals aren't accomplished as easily, but I think the key is to not get down on yourself. And as long as you put the effort and time into it, that's all that matters. I think one important thing is to just one important thing to finding your inner peace is acceptance, acceptance of yourself, acceptance that you can't control everything around you. Everything is just not in your control, and that basically how you think and how you handle those situations is all that matters, Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting to perfect what you do or whatever. I think you just shouldn't drive yourself crazy trying to do so. Everything happens for a reason. So if something didn't happen, it just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't a part of your journey or whatever. So basically what I'm saying is believing in yourself is all that you need, even if things don't go as planned. So I think another key to finding happiness and living a good life is being mindful of others and showing compassion. And I know some of you probably think what does that have to do with living a good life or whatever, but I think being able to connect to another person and understanding them it kind of shows you how similar we all are as people. I guarantee almost every situation that you've been in life, good or bad, you can find at least one person who could relate to you, who has been through the same thing. Or even if it's a situation that you never necessarily went through, it's good to kind of see the other side of it, because you might meet someone who goes through the same thing, or you might one day go through the same thing. So I guess it's kind of good to just understand and to see and to learn and grow from it. So this leads me to one of my own personal stories. So as you guys know from my poem, I was cheated on not too long ago, whatever. So I had to deal with the emotions and the feelings of getting over it or whatever. I would kind of think of old things that happened that kind of made me feel the same way that I was feeling now, going through the heartbreak or whatever. And I would kind of get down on myself, honestly. I would be really sad. I think about me wanting to have a big family in the future and stuff, and it kind of made me a little depressed, It was actually kind of ridiculous, honestly, the way I was making myself feel. But I would go to work, and I had this coworker who I would talk to, and she's very driven. She's the life of the party. She's always happy. She's loving. She's very successful at making her job. She's the accounts receivables person, and she came into a tough job. It was thousands of dollars that the company wasn't getting, and she lowered it down to a couple hundred or whatever. But I looked up to her. I valued her opinion and all that stuff. So I would vent for her. I would vent to her, and I found myself using her for strength and guidance in a way. I almost forgot to realize she herself is human, and I guess I made the mistake that the friends and the co-workers and the family members does when they see me and they see I'm doing what I'm doing and they praise it. I looked at her, she's successful in her job, she has a successful marriage. You could literally hear the love. When she's on the phone with her husband, you can hear it. And it's just oh, I wish I want that one day, And I kind of looked at her as if she was happy and she was living this good life because of everything that she had and she accomplished, when in reality, she was dealing with her own tough issues herself, She's been with her husband for over 10 years, and recently she had her 10th wedding anniversary, and that's when reality kind of hit her hard. So she's pushing 40 or whatever, and she just got the news. She can't have kids, basically. They tried naturally. They've tried through procedures and stuff, and it's just not happening. Her time is up, basically. So, here I am, I'm going to her and I'm complaining, I'm sad, I'm depressed about something simple, you know, as a heartbreak or like past issues. And this whole time she's hurting, you know, and I'm like being selfish, like using her for strength and guidance, and she needs her own strength and guidance from someone else, you know, and she's so used to being strong, like she just, I don't know how to say it, but she doesn't really ask for help. She doesn't really show you she's hurting. She'll give you hints by like buying food, a lot of food. That's how she copes with it, and that's how you know she's going with something. So that's why I think, you know, it's kind of, in order to be happy and to live a good life, you kind of gotta embrace the person you are and accept the person that you are, you know, and just appreciate the good and the bad. And you can't really forget that there's always someone that's living a harder life or going through something that's way more important than a heartbreak or whatever the case may be or whatever. Like, I dream of having a big family. Like, that's my ultimate goal. And I still have time to do so. But my coworker, she can never, no matter how much she tried, I mean, you could do adoption and stuff, but no matter how much she tries, she can never naturally give her own kid to her husband. So I guess that kind of made me, like, take a step back or whatever, reflect on life, you know, kind of appreciate what I have to look forward to. Like, I can still have that family or whatever. So it just made me look at the bigger picture and see what was really important. So, yeah, that's why I think my final thing, or I'm still adding to my list, you know, as my journey goes. You know, I'm still learning, I'm still growing or whatever. But I do think it's really important to reflect and to learn, you know, from life or whatever. I think it helps you accept things that have happened. It kind of helps you reevaluate life and what's important and what should matter. I think it gives you clarity and understanding. And ultimately, it can kind of bring you peace, you know. I mean, there's other ways to bring peace. You can do yoga. I've tried yoga, you know. I've tried, you know, I tried new things. You can step out of your comfort zone too, as well, you know. When I first started my journey, because I did find, I will say I did sort of find my inner peace, you know. I started praying, I started working out, I started hiking, I did my yoga, you know. You just got to be happy with yourself first. You just got to find, that's how you find your inner peace or whatever. So, yeah, with all that being said, I think material things can only get you so far in life, you know. Until you're happy with yourself or the person that you're becoming, you'll never truly be happy in life. You should love yourself first, be your biggest fan, but also remember that the world doesn't revolve around you. There's other issues that are bigger at hand. Show compassion for others. Don't be afraid to learn from their mistakes and their accomplishments as well as your own. And yeah, so I hopefully this small little guide can kind of help you guys figure out life and how to be happy and stuff.
Yeah, no questions at all.
I kind of have more of a comment than a question, because, like, you know, I kind of have, like, the same problem where I kind of have to, you know, find a way to accept myself, because I get down on myself whenever I, you know, mess up on something or if something's not perfect. To me, I, like, completely freak out about it. I can't remember how long ago I saw this, but it's kind of gross, but it's also, like, really cute at the same time. Pretty much it just says that you were the sperm that won, so you're before you're even born.
Right.
So when you think of it, when you kind of think of stuff like that, it like really makes you feel a lot better.
Right.
To be completely honest.
Right. I think, like I said, I think there's a reason why we're all here. This isn't a mistake, whether you believe in God or not. Like you said, all those sperms, you know, and we made it. You know, that whole process we gotta go through.
Like, you have to
made it.
It's like millions. Like
Right.
year one is like over 1 million.
Right, and there's so much that can happen. Like you could get caught in the tube, or you know, or just whatever. The body can attack you, and we're here. We made it. So yeah, I think we all should just appreciate life, which is easier said than done. Because like I'm sitting here and I'm telling you guys all this stuff, but I'm sure I'm gonna go through something eventually, and I'm gonna get down on myself again. You know, it's just a matter of not staying in that state of mind for a long time. You gotta kind of figure out ways to get you out of it. Yeah.
I feel like what you mentioned about like kind of like how you shouldn't measure like success like with your happiness or something like that. Like it happens a lot too. It happens a lot around like people who have successful careers and stuff like that. Sometimes behind closed doors they're unhappy and
Right.
they go through so much stuff, and it turns into like sometimes you see these with celebrities nowadays, they have all this money, but they somehow unhappy or something's going around in their head and stuff like that, and sometimes they don't even reflect, they just do things, crazy things. You see them on media and stuff like that, doing absurd things, and
Right, right. You see the famous people who are addicted to drugs or like Tyrese was on social media crying the other day. They've taken his daughter from him or whatever the case may be. Or Lamar Odom. I'm sure you guys heard of him. He's out here doing all this nonsense. He almost lost his life and he's still, so money doesn't buy happiness. It gets you through life though. Yes.
So, in your journey, what did you feel was the best thing you thought made you happy, like got you through all your tough times?
I think I took a step back, and there was a lot of people who I kind of took out of my life for a little bit, and that's how I found my peace. I started, like I said, I started praying, and I would go, there's like a trail, I would go on the trail, or I'll go to the gym and stuff like that, and I actually was in a pretty good space. I felt like it shows, because when you're happy and you're confident in yourself, other people they're gonna feel that energy. They're gonna, so I think the best thing I did was just get rid of the toxic people in your life. Anybody who's not wishing you well or not helping you to advance and grow, because I made the mistake of I hate to keep bringing him up, but I found my peace, and I took the mistake of, I thought I could handle him now. I thought I was ready to like face that challenge again and get back with my ex and stuff like that, and he kind of threw me off again. So now I'm actually in the process where I'm trying to find that inner peace again. But what I find is the old stuff I did isn't working. Like, I kind of got to find a new routine, basically. So just, I guess, just be open to new things, to try, figuring out the way you is. Because just one way of life that's not life. That's not the only thing, the only part of life.
what do you think you would want, like, would you consider this, like, if this was like 20 years, maybe not 20 years, like a few years from now, if you would have, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying that, would you wish you would have found this out earlier?
Oh yes, oh my gosh, you guys don't understand. My high school years, my middle school years, it was like, I was so just not as confident, as I am now. And it's crazy to me because I recently talked to some people from high school that I didn't really talk to as much. And to, like, some of them, like, there was guys who, like, oh, I had the biggest crush on you, and da-da-da-da. And to me, it was like, I was like a nobody, like, I wasn't as important as some of these people are making me feel now, So that's why it's just good. It's good to kind of believe in yourself, because, yeah.
One more question?
When you mentioned like taking bad people out of your life, like the people that don't encourage you in things, I actually changed my life around too. And while you're sitting here talking, I'm like thinking about my own life and what I've been through moving out my house at 18, and I actually felt a lot better about doing what I did. I actually dropped all my best friends. Like, it was a very hard decision because we've been best friends for like 10 to 15 years.
Oh, wow.
But when I took that step of moving out, they all put me down instead of saying, at least you're happy type of thing.
Right.
They all thought he wasn't anything. They thought he was gonna use me. So it actually makes me feel a lot better about making that decision because my life has changed dramatically, but I think it's changed for the good.
Right.
So you kind of just changed my mindset on my past decisions.
That's good. That was one of my achievements I wanted to get across from this speech, Sometimes you gotta be a little selfish. Be mindful of people, but you gotta do what's best for you. If there's people in your life that's not helping you out, just let them go. just let them go. I know it'll probably be hard, but it'll be for the better in the long run.
That's it, thank you very much. We're giving feedback to everybody. Vicki, do you have your flash drive by any chance?
Yes.
All right, class, we'll finish up here, and then Thursday, anybody that hasn't given a speech, that'll be your day, so Thursday. That'll be all right? Yeah. We'll finish them up, okay.
I actually have this. I didn't know like that word, but that's it.
Okay, good.